The auction barn smelled like wet wood, smoke, and old secrets. Rain hammered against the metal roof while men crowded together beneath hanging yellow lights, shouting prices over the sound of restless cattle. Elena Hart stood near the center platform, with her hands clenched so tightly her nails cut into her palms. She tried not to look afraid, but fear was already written all over her face. At 19 years old, she had learned something cruel about the world. Sometimes strangers hurt you, but family destroys you. "Keep your head up," her mother whispered sharply beside her, "and stop trembling." Elena swallowed hard. Her father stood a few feet away, counting papers with sweaty hands, refusing to meet her eyes even once. That hurt more than the freezing rain outside, because if he couldn't even look at her now, then whatever deal he made tonight had already been decided. She didn't know who was buying her, only that someone would. And somewhere deep inside, she knew her life was about to end in one way or another. The auctioneer climbed onto the wooden stage and slammed his hand down loudly. "Gentlemen," he announced, grinning at the crowd, "we begin at 50,000. Laughter spread through the room. Elena felt sick. Men stared openly at her now, some old enough to be her grandfather, some drunk, some smiling in ways that made her skin crawl. One man near the front licked whiskey from his thumb while staring directly at her legs. She wanted to run. God, she wanted to run so badly. But where would she go? Her parents owed dangerous people money. Everyone in town knew it. Debt collectors had already visited their house twice this month. The second time, Elena heard one of them tell her father, "If you don't pay soon, we'll take something valuable instead." Now she understood what he meant. 60,000, someone shouted. 70, 80. The numbers climbed fast. Elena's breathing became shallow. Her mother leaned close again. "You should be grateful. Most girls in your position end up dead. Girls in your position." As if poverty made her less human. As if she deserved this. Then suddenly, 200,000. Silence crashed through the auction barn. Every voice stopped. Every head turned. Even the auctioneer blinked in shock, because everyone recognized the man who spoke. Cade Mercer, the lone rancher from Black Creek Ridge. Tall, broad shoulders, dark coat dripping rainwater onto the wooden floor. A black cowboy hat shadowed most of his face, but his eyes remained fixed on Elena with terrifying intensity. No one spoke. Nobody challenged Cade Mercer. Stories about him traveled across counties. Some called him dangerous, others called him cursed. People whispered that he lived alone in the mountains because death followed him everywhere he went. And now he was here, bidding on her. The auctioneer cleared his throat nervously. 200,000. Any higher? No answer. Not one man dared lift a hand. Cade slowly stepped. Heavy boots echoed across the silent barn floor. Elena's pulse thundered painfully in her chest as he stopped directly in front of the stage. For one strange moment, his expression changed. Not cruel, not hungry, something worse. Heartbroken. "Sold," the auctioneer stammered. And just like that, Elena belonged to him. Her mother smiled instantly, but not at Elena, at the money. Her father grabbed the payment papers with shaking hands. Neither of them hugged her goodbye. Neither apologized. Her mother only leaned close enough to whisper coldly into her ear, "Don't ruin this opportunity like you ruin everything else." Then they walked away. Just walked away, without looking back once. Elena stood frozen while the crowd slowly disappeared around her. Something deep inside her cracked open quietly.
like glass finally breaking after years of pressure. Then Cade's voice came from behind her. "Come on." She turned sharply. Rain dripped from the edge of his hat while he watched her.
"I'm not going anywhere with you," she whispered. "You don't have a choice." Fear flashed through her instantly. "What are you going to do to me?" For the first time, emotion crossed his face. Pain. Real pain. But it vanished quickly. "If I wanted to hurt you, Elena," his deep voice lowered softly, "I wouldn't have paid to save you. Save you. Not buy you. Save you." Those words followed her through the storm all the way to his truck. The drive to Black Creek Ranch lasted nearly 3 hours. Rain pounded the windshield while thunder rolled across the dark mountains. Cade barely spoke the entire time. Elena sat pressed against the passenger door, silently watching him. He looked older than she remembered. Then suddenly her stomach twisted. Remembered. She frowned slightly. Why did he feel familiar? A scar crossed the side of his throat. His rough hands gripped the steering wheel tightly. He looked exhausted, like someone who hadn't slept peacefully in years. Finally, "Have we met before?" Cade's jaw tightened slightly. "Yes." Her brows furrowed. "When?" "You don't remember." "I think I would remember someone like you." For the first time, the corner of his mouth almost smiled. "Most people do." The truck turned sharply onto a long dirt road lined with massive pine trees. Elena stared ahead as a huge ranch slowly appeared through the rain. Black Creek Ranch stretched endlessly beneath the stormy sky. Horses ran through distant fields, while warm golden lights glowed from inside a giant wooden house. It looked nothing like the prison she expected. Still, beautiful places often hid terrible things. Cade parked the truck and stepped out into the rain. Elena hesitated before opening her door. Cold wind instantly hit her skin. Without a word, Cade removed his coat and placed it over her shoulders. "I don't need your pity," she snapped. His dark eyes met hers. "It's not pity." Then he walked ahead. Inside, the ranch house smelled like coffee. Cedar wood and fire smoke. Warmth wrapped around Elena instantly. A gray-haired woman appeared from the kitchen carrying a towel. "Oh, thank heavens," she sighed. "You finally brought her home." Elena froze. "Home?" The woman smiled kindly. "I'm Martha. Sit down before you freeze to death." "I'm fine." Her stomach growled loudly. Martha raised an eyebrow. Sook first, pride later. For the first time in weeks, Elena almost smiled. Almost. Later that night, Elena stood alone near the bedroom window staring across the dark ranch. Moonlight spread over the fields while wind whispered through the trees outside. She should leave. Escape while she still could. But something about Cade unsettled her in a different way. He looked at her like someone searching for something he lost years ago. A soft knock interrupted her thoughts. Cade stood in the doorway holding something small in his hand. "You forgot this." He stepped closer and placed a silver necklace in her palm. Elena stopped breathing. A tiny bird charm hung from the chain. No, impossible. Her fingers trembled violently as she stared at it. "This," her voice cracked softly. "Where did you get this?" Cade watched her carefully. "You dropped it near the river 5 years ago." The world tilted beneath her feet. Memories crashed into her mind instantly. A storm, cold river water, falling beneath strong currents, and someone pulling her out. A tall stranger carrying her safely to shore while rain poured around them. "You," she whispered. Cade nodded slowly. "You were 14. Elena looked up at him in shock. "You kept my necklace all this time. For 5 years. Silence filled the room. Dangerous silence. Then Cade said quietly, "I never forgot you, little bird." The nickname hit her like lightning. Little bird. The exact words that stranger whispered after saving her life. Her heart pounded painfully. Why would a man keep a teenage girl's necklace for 5 years? Unless she meant something to him. Something. That thought terrified her.
The next morning, Elena woke early and wandered downstairs quietly. Voices came from the kitchen. "You should tell her the truth," Martha whispered. Cade answered sharply, "Not yet." "She deserves to know. I know what she deserves." Elena stepped into the doorway. "Know what?" Silence. Cade looked exhausted already. Martha sighed softly and left the room without another word. Elena crossed her arms. "What truth?" Cade stayed silent too long. Then finally he reached into a drawer and handed her an old photograph. Elena stared at it in shock. It was her, at 15 years old, laughing at a county fair. Happy. She barely recognized herself. Her eyes slowly lifted toward him. "You've been watching me?" "No." "Then why do you have this picture?" Cade's jaw tightened. "Because I needed to know you were safe." Fear twisted through her chest. "That's not normal." "No," he admitted quietly. "It isn't." "Then explain to me." For several seconds he said
Nothing. Then finally, "Your father killed my brother." The room went silent. Elena stared at him. "What?" "10 years ago, my brother worked at your father's oil site." His voice grew colder with every word. "The equipment was unsafe. Everyone warned your father." Elena shook her head slowly. "No." There was an explosion. Pain flashed across Kate's face. "My brother died inside that fire." Elena's chest tightened painfully. "And your father paid people to hide the truth." "That's impossible." "It isn't." She stepped backward slightly. "So what is this?" She whispered. "Revenge?" Cade looked directly into her eyes. "For a long time, I thought it would be." The air suddenly felt heavy. "Then I met you." Silence. "You were trying to save an injured bird near the creek." His voice softened slightly. "You cried harder over that bird than most people cry over humans." Memories returned instantly. The injured sparrow she found near the water. The stranger watching her quietly from the... "Oh my God. I hated your family," Cade admitted softly, "but I couldn't hate you." Elena's emotions tangled painfully together. Fear, confusion, and something far more dangerous growing beneath both. Because despite everything, part of her trusted him. 3 days passed quietly after that conversation. Too quietly.